Tonight on the program, two states are in focus, given the political situation in those states. First, Benue State. Then we touch on Rivers State. At the end of the 2023 general elections, one of the states that experienced a major political upset was Benue State, north central Nigeria, known as the food basket. Before the election, it had a PDP governor, 3 PDP senators, 10 out of the 11 House of Representatives members were all from the PDP, meaning out of the 14 National Assembly members from Benue State, 13 were all from the PDP. At the end of the polls, the representation arguably transposed. The APC won the governorship seat, now Reverend Father Hyacinth Aliyah. APC also won 2 senatorial seats and 10 House of Rep seats. And by implication, the 14 seats, APC occupies 12, leaving PDP with just 2 in the bicameral chamber, one of which is occupied by the Senate Minority Leader, Senator Abba Moro. Now, unfortunately, after barely 7 months, APC, their home is in disarray or divided in Benue State against itself, with loyalties tilting to either the governor, that's Hyacinth Aliyah, or the secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. And right now, the National Assembly caucus, that's of the APC led by Senator Titus Zam, are criticizing the governor for poor performance, stifling the state of funds, unilateral decisions, arrogance, and are calling on the president to intervene. Well, tonight, that is what we'll be focusing on, because they held a no-holds-barred press conference yesterday, the caucus of the APC from Benue State, led by Senator Zam, and we reached out, and he agreed to come on the program, but unfortunately, we couldn't get him to come tonight. We're still trying to see whether he would join us eventually, but he had promised to join us. I mean, the people, the caucus that spoke yesterday at the press conference. But on the program tonight, joining us from our Abuja studio right now, is the Commissioner for Transport and Energy in Benue State, Mr. Omale Omale. Mr. Omale Omale, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to always be on your program.
Well, as I did tell the audience, we expected Senator Zam to join us, but let's hope that maybe somewhere in between you'll be able to catch up the conversation. But let me begin with you since you're here. How did this thing generate from an exciting victory, a major upset in the politics of Benue State, which I just explained that it was like a political transposition? One moment PDP was in greater majority in the House, National Assembly was the governor of the state, and now it's all APC. But APC, the House seemed to be not in order. What is going on in your state as far as you know as a commissioner?
Yeah, it's one big pleasure to be here today again at a different capacity now as a commissioner for power and transport in Benue State under the government of His Excellency Dr. Reverend Father Hyacinth Aliyah, the executive governor of Benue State, who have graciously assembled a team of personalities in Benue State to help manage the now government that APC is driving in Benue State. I think from our own text, for the record, it will be inappropriate to mention that APC in Benue State is in disarray. It is not. Regrettably, there is this internal misunderstanding that is largely informed by our inability of some persons to accept reality and the present regime under which the APC is managing the affairs of government in Benue State. I will also want to put it in perspective that APC in government in Benue State is not recent, so 2023 general elections. Some time ago in 1999, in 2019, APC found her way through the enjoyment of popular mandate again, where the then PDP government of Benue State was displaced. And then we had, in the manner that we had it then, the immediate past governor, His Excellency Governor Tom as the governor of Benue State under APC platform, which was again short-lived by certain tendencies that is in reoccurrence and regrettably finding her way back again in a manner that threatens this fortune that APC currently enjoys in Benue State. I haven't said that. The people of Benue State and the party in Benue State have not lost steam with this new development and the excitement that APC is now back in government house of Benue State, providing good governance services in infrastructural area for the benefit of the citizenry or the good people of Benue State. The party is in high spirit, is very excited, only to the extent of certain political players in the APC political fold that have refused to acknowledge the changing in this current political leadership, with now Reverend Dr. Hyacinth Yoniam earlier as the executive governor of APC, and by reason of which the leader of APC in Benue State, with very much acknowledgement of other critical political players of APC political platform in Benue State. And I'm sure it is this misunderstanding that is informing this internal reaction. And I'm very sure as soon as everybody come to the realization of this new perspective in leadership, and then we are ready to work together as one indivisible family that symbolizes by the APC symbol in broom, then we'll be better. But nevertheless, I have the assurance of the executive governor of Benue State and in council that all this that is happening within this APC fold will not detract in service delivery and in ensuring that the covenant with which His Excellency the Executive Governor of Benue State have with the people of Benue State at the time he offered himself in service will not be put down, by this tendency that are currently brewing.
Mr. Male, let me state one or two things and then ask my question. I know that when we have politicians or political actors like yourself, and we're trying to put the facts before you, sometimes you try to go around it. The truth is that 75% made up of 2 senators, I think about 7 House of Reps members were the ones that converged and held that press conference. And they were very vocal. That's why I use the word no holds barred. They said things straight. Some people call it calling out the governor, literally. And that doesn't look like your house is in order. I just wanted to put that. If 75% of the lawmakers are doing that, I don't know what you want to call that. On the second part is, you've mentioned the leadership, who is the leader of the APC in the state. I know that politically a lot of parties say it's the governor that is the leader of the party, perhaps because the SGF played a critical role in bringing in the governor to become a governor and all of that. Why do you think these lawmakers that are protesting, agitating, do not want to accept the governor as the leader of the party? Rather, they reference the SGF. One had even removed the governor's picture. I think I saw online, removed the governor's picture from his office. But for him, that person or the governor doesn't represent the kind of leader he's going to be proud of. Why do you think they refuse to accept the governor as the leader of the party in the state?
Yeah, I thank you for your thought line. And then I would answer promptly by saying that it's erroneous not to acknowledge the governor of Benue State as the leader of APC, or the leader of the government in Benue State, and by political formation, the leader of the party in Benue State. Yes, we are privileged to have our own father, Senator, His Excellency Senator George Akume, now SGF, as the political, the chairman of the political stakeholders in Benue State. You know, these are the formation in party leadership that all of us must resonate with. And if we do that, we will not have any misgiving. There cannot be 2 captains at once. That fact must be very well known. And if you have that, it is a tendency for this crisis or the manner of crisis that we are currently or seemingly experiencing in Benue State. That's an error. And until this error is put in perspective, it will continue to raise our ugly head and give misgivings to the good people of Nigeria. the situation in Benue State cannot be different from what we have in other states of the country. APC is one indivisible political party with leadership structure. And this leadership structure must be accepted by all concerned. It is political leadership. It is transient, and everybody must know that. We differ to them in National Assembly as Senator and House of Rep member, respectively, so long as it does last. And as such, a leader, a political leader in their right, in their several constituency, irrespective of any old political proteges or political elite that might exist in their political constituency. So that is a fact. And then to be an honorable member is not for the want of proper word for description. It is the expectation of the office that we severally occupy. If you are a member of the House of Rep, we address you as honorable member by our conduct, by our action, by our comportment, by our pronouncement. We should be honorable in all facets. So if we behave in a manner that does not sustain this appellation, it's too bad. And that is what we are beginning to see. I do know that the leadership question in Benue State is not in doubt. That we have our father, the SGF, as the lead, as the chairman of the Elders Forever Caucus in Benue State. It's not in doubt. He has made a whole lot of persons in Benue State. A whole lot of us passed through his hand, no doubt. But today that I am the commissioner and a member of the Executive Council of the Benue State government, does not make my father that commissioner for power and transport in Benue State. It is me, his son, that is. And I must enjoy that reverence as the Honorable the Commissioner for Power and Transport in Benue State. So, and until all of us come to that realization, it will be an aberration to see any leader of whatever class coming to perform the schedule of the Ministry of Power and Transport in Benue State. I think that's the error that my brothers and friends of the APC extraction at the National Assembly must come to realize and place leadership, respect, decorum, action, and inaction in perspective so that we avoid this unnecessary embarrassment.
All right, Mr. Ahmad, let's dig deep. Apparently, there is a disagreement as to who is the leader of the party amongst the APC members at the National Assembly, and things are happening in the state. But let's zoom into some of the things they raise as concern. We understand that, please help me confirm. I'm going to ask you two questions in one. The first question, we understand that there was a power sharing agreement or idea. I would like you to confirm whether that's true. I mean, by the time politicians win elections, they have an understanding of what goes to who and to where. Was there an agreement, some sort of an agreement in terms of power sharing? That's question number one. And why did the governor, if there was an agreement, let's presume there was an agreement, except you say otherwise, why didn't he follow through? Because they are saying that from the appointment of the Chief of Staff, Mr. Paul Biam, to the SSG, Professor Joseph Alakali, to the emergence of the Speaker, Andona Adajo, as against what they consider the APC zoning of the speakership to Boko East, which should naturally have produced Becky Open, they feel that the governor didn't consult them. So let's tackle this particular issue. First, was there an agreement in terms of sharing? And if there was, why did the governor go against it?
I thank you most sincerely for that question. But I must also address it squarely to the point that if there is one agreement, I am not party to it, I am not aware, I am not in a position to be party to it, and in a position to be aware of if there was one. But I do know that it is APC platform that produced the government, the governor, and APC as a political party got her manifesto. And as soon as a government is formed, as soon as a government is formed, then the government must put together the necessary structure to drive home the manifesto of the party, which is now encapsulated in the blueprint to which the executive governor of Benue State, Reverend Dr. Hyacinth Amelia, sets to drive for the benefit of the good people of Benue State and Nigeria at large. And let me say this quickly. When we begin to talk about appointments, we should also know appointments that are personal to the office of the governor of a state. Well, we talk about the chief of staff. It's the chief of staff to the governor. And it's entirely the prerogative of the governor to appoint a chief of staff, whom he verily believe will help him coordinate the other staffs that will be functioning alongside him, with him in government, to make deliverables on the mandate or the covenant that they share with their constituency. And that is it. As far as the appointment of the office of the chief of staff in Benue State is concerned, and that of the SSG respectively, these are prerogative of Mr. Governor, which of course he will always come to terms or come to realizing this prerogative by due consultation, putting into place or into consideration various parameters as to who will deliver on this core mandate. And it might also interest you to know, it is not in all cases that you might find any of these key members of that political party. There is chief of staff. It helps coordinate. Could have sourced it from any other place for the purpose of forming a government that he very well believe will help deliver on the mandate for our people. That is it for this and other. And I quickly talk about whether there was power sharing and whether there was an agreement to produce a Becky OP as the Speaker of Benue State House of Assembly. Again, I will tell us that I am not party to it, so I can't say that there was one agreement and there was a renegance at one point. But the House of Assembly of a state is a distinct organ of government, and they have their rules, procedure that brings about the leadership of the House. Yes, the party will naturally have a formation of, what the zoning arrangement looks like in Benue State.
Honorable Commissioner, if I may, so we've talked about the Chief of Staff, the SSG, and all of that. They're also saying that several other appointments, including the appointment of yourself as Commissioner and several others of your colleague and special advisor, they were not consulted at all as party stakeholders, given their status as members of the National Assembly. That's why they feel very unhappy. So I'm asking again, to the best of your knowledge, besides these first ones you said, okay, is the governor's prerogative. Of course, governor can choose whoever he wants, but as a party, they expect that you come together because he didn't just emerge on his own. He was supported by people. They will expect one or two things from him. Is it that he's not consulting them for anything of all these appointments? Is that what is going on, according to the accusations?
All right. I've been around the political space for quite a while now to know how party and government relationship function. I've also been around the space that our party were led to forming a government in 2015. And I've also been around beyond that time to also know when we have trickle of our party people in Legislative Assembly in Benue State and even at the National Assembly. Every other leadership will emerge as a result of, consultations. These consultations are in layers. Some are not within the knowledge of every member of the party, and others are also within certain classes and category of membership of the party. And I do know, when the party laboriously formed government in Benue State in 2023, the governor of Haisen Yonem earlier, in compliance with constitutional provision, convened the first expanded stakeholder meeting in Benue State, where this issue was put on the table, and that they are going to proceed to constitute cabinet, and that people should, everybody should put their heads together, and input were made in section. This consultation, I believe, were carried out at strategic layers, and recommendations were made, and we are where we are today. I listened to my brother and my chief of staff, Right Honorable Paul Biam, why he was saying in session today, being one of the first appointee of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State, is well abreast and seized of the several consultations and the input that several leadership made that led eventually to the composition of the Executive Council of Benue State.
So, sorry, Mr. Amale,
to the so-called caucus of the National Assembly. Yes, please.
Yes, sorry. Okay, maybe you were going to that point. I wanted specifics. Were these members, these ones that are agitating, including the SGF, were they consulted in making some of these decisions? That's just my question. The SGF and these lawmakers
Yes,
that are agitating that are believed to be loyal to him?
Yes, of course, again, I must also let you know, I have laid the foundation that consultation are at several layers. There are this consultation that is personal to the governor and the SGF, who is the chairman of the Elders Caucus in Benue State. That is personal to them. There are others that are also between the governor and the members of the National Assembly, which is personal to them at that level because I cannot speak. There are others again that is personal to the governor and the leadership of APC in Benue State. That is personal to them, and because I am not one of them, I might not also be able to speak. But I do also know as a fact that a follow-up to the expanded stakeholders meeting that was convened, and I was privileged to be in attendance, that meeting was convoked by the chairman of APC in Benue State. He sent a wide circular nominating several persons, starting from the person of SGF, national membership of the National Assembly, and I was in session when the first expanded stakeholder meeting was convoked, and some of the members of the National Assembly were there. There is one thing to call for a meeting for the purpose of consultation, and another thing to attend. For reasons best known to them, some of them were not in attendance. And under 6 months of this administration of Governor Hyacinthe Elia in Benue State, we have had 2 expanded stakeholder meetings in 6 months. One precedes the composition of the State Working Committee and other appointments therefrom. And the second one was the one that led to the establishment of, or the composition of the Benue State Caretaker Committee or Interim Committee for the local government, when it becomes very necessary that we fill and address this gap. All these meetings were convoked by the chairman of APC, an invitation extended, very published, announced on several media platforms, inviting from the person of his SGF through the National Assembly members to my own category and order down the line. And we're all in attendance. It becomes a thing of choice for people to attend or not to attend.
All right, Mr. Male, let's play you just to remind you of some of the things he said yesterday before I put forward my next question at that press conference. Let's take a listen.
Blueprint for Benue State. As at the moment, nobody in Benue State is aware of the direction of his administration. What he practices is personal rule, and this is replicated by the lopsided appointments he has made in the state so far, with his immediate Kunav community cornering all the positions in his government. The implications of this undemocratic rule in Benue State, the grave consequences of Governor Elia's personal rule is that the generality of APC members who are excluded and abandoned are beginning to lose faith in the APC-led administration in Benue State. Therefore, care must be taken to safeguard APC from this tyrannical leadership of Governor Elia so as to prepare the party for the next round of elections. By Governor Elia's undemocratic attitude, activities, and posture, the fortunes of APC in Benue State are fast declining. The governor hires fake crowd and moves around in the state capital, giving the impression that the people are with him. Whereas you all know that party politics in Nigeria is predicated on the shoulders of leaders from the world to the state, from the world to the local government to the states.
Mr. Male, I'm sure you heard them, tyrannical leadership, undemocratic attitude. What's your response?
It's very unfortunate that such comment could come from a supposedly honorable members of the National Assembly from Benue State and of APC stock in Benue State. And more particularly, for my brother and friend, Senator Titus Zam, to be the one making that rendition. It's appalling and rather disappointing that that is coming from them, I must say the least. I say so because virtually all of them on that table were at one point or the other in company of His Excellency the Executive Governor of Benue State, Reverend Dr. Hyacinthe Elia, at the time of electionary campaigns, from local government to local government, wards to ward, canvassing for vote for the good for the party, for Mr. President Ahmed Bola Tinubu and his vice, Shatima, through to every one of them, because he was the chairman of the Presidential Campaign Council in Benue State, leading campaign that brought all of them to the National Assembly. And at that campaign, he was rolling out the agenda of Mr. President. He was rolling out his thought, his agenda for the good people of Benue State. That agenda that Senator Zam now say that His Excellency Governor Hyacinthe Elia does not have blueprint, but leading state from his head or at his own whims and caprices, and I say it's wrong and it's not correct, was very well articulated and well captured in a document, in a blueprint, which he used at the time of campaign, now advanced package in government. This is the Bible and the document that guide the operation of governance in Benue State. It's titled A Strategic Development Plan for a Greater Benue. This was a document that the governor of Benue State used at the time of campaign and at the time that he became the governor, and now is the document that every one of us whom we have assembled are using to drive in good governance in Benue State. This document is anchored on 7 pillars. It's appalling if Titus Dan and the rest of them who say they are caucus of APC in National Assembly are not in tune with the blueprint that the executive governor of Benue State is using to manage the state. It's it's appalling and disappointing to their person.
We're totally out of time. I just have 30 seconds to wrap up. To wrap up this, let me quickly say this.
No,
just hang on, Mr. Male. Okay, just say what you want to say as quickly as possible.
All right, and I will say this. It is also erroneous for them to gather on that table to say that His Excellency's appointment in Benue State is lopsided. That's not correct. We have 17-member commissioner in the Executive Council of Benue State. We have 23 local government in Benue State. I am from Zone C. I am from Apa local government. And all from Zone C have 6 critical ministry in Benue State. We are not from the extraction of the governor of Benue State. We are from the same party. We are from Idoma, Zone C area of Benue State. Ministry of Finance is from the Idoma Aziz. Myself, Ministry of Power and Transport. We have Ministry of Women Affairs, Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Agriculture, all in Zone C, and the other several local government in Benue State. Is that appointment a lopsided appointment for them to see to say this appointment is running an egocentric administration? It's not correct. They should appreciate the very fact that through the Eliazational movement in Benue State, they are privileged to find themselves at the National Assembly. They should be happy and be grateful to Governor Hyacinthe Elia.
All right, Mr. Male, that's a good place to just conclude your thoughts, because we don't have so much time anymore. We're totally out of time. And if we had time, we would have talked about the issue of governance, because they were complaining that the governor is stifling the state of funds. I looked up the fiscal performance of the state as reported by budget, and I could see that the state depends on percentage dependence on facts. In terms of proportion, the state depends 75.8% on fact. That means without fact, the state may be insolvent. But that's not a conversation we can have now. I wanted to have that conversation with you in terms of governance. But I must thank you for coming. And I did say that Titus Zam, Senator, was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, couldn't make it. But thank you for your thought and insight. I will continue to monitor what's going on in your state. Thank you for coming on the program.
Please do. But I will assure you that in Benue State, under 6 months, our internally generated revenue is considerably improved following the leadership of Governor Hyacinthe
thank you.
And in no distant time, that balance, that ratio will shift.
We're praying for that. Mr. Omale is the Commissioner for Power and Transportation. Thank you so much.